What's going on, everyone? So we have a video here that I can't believe I watched. Also, there's a bit of misdirection in the title because too much of this video is focused on talking about just stupidity compared to what the title is trying to display. Like, first and foremost, let's think about this. Why the PS5 Pro crushes gaming PCs? First of all, that's never going to happen. It's already dumb. And Nvidia RTX 50 series, talking about the new series is about to come out. Like, why would you be that ignorant enough to post that? Obviously, there's clickbait, there's ignorance, and then they're stirring the pot. And then just trying to play and act like the PlayStation 5 Pro is a better deal than gaming PCs for stupid ideas. You guys are going to see. So we're going to get into this. I have a lot to educate this person about. Obviously, I'm going to let them know. As you see, too, they almost have like negative 300 and the down vote section. And obviously, the ponies did this because they're delusional enough to believe that a PS5 Pro can crush a gaming PC, right? Let's think about the word crush and RTX 50 series. Like, just don't be that stupid. But some people just really are that dumb. So, like, comment, and subscribe. That's why you know I'm here, and it's time to bring the scales of justice down and spank the ponies. All right, let's go. 2018, no ray tracing, no DLSS, no frame gen.
Who steals a goddamn boy? Yeah.
What about down?
Do you on sight? Commitment.
Back in 2018, we were blown away by lifelike pores, realistic motion capture, and reflections that adjusted in real time. Fast forward to today, and guess what? We've still got those same features, except now they come bundled with ghosting, input lag, flickering, and sub-60 FPS gameplay, even with the beefiest GPUs on the market.
That sub 60 gameplay, what are you talking about? I'm playing Cyberpunk on my PC. Ultra settings, native 1800p. Getting 70 to 75 frames per second with ray tracing on.
What happened?
Like, look at the people in the background. Like, god damn.
That game wasn't finished. Now it's better optimized.
Oh, baby.
It's Unreal Engine 5, I mean.
Okay,
Back in 2017,
And I was running it way better on my PC. It run like dog shit on PlayStation.
if you had a $600 PC that could handle PUBG, Skyrim, and Borderlands without breaking a sweat, now it feels like even a $1,500 rig struggles to make modern games look good. This isn't just about graphics
What?
evolving. It's about a deeper problem, a virus infecting the gaming industry, bad optimization. And it begs the question, why don't developers care about making games run well and look good?
And the funny thing about that, what she's saying, it's not games designed on PC, but it's games designed on consoles VRAM, which uses way lower specs on PC, not being finished and unoptimized and giving bad PC ports. That's a publishing that's a publishing issue in the industry. That has nothing to do with whether the cards can run them or not, or the CPU or the RAM. That's just the way they're deciding to make the games. And launching them out unfinished with engines that are super demanding, focusing on the hyper details. But yeah, I don't see so far how she's still convincing me that has anything to do with PS5 crushing gaming PC, which that's not going to happen. And the new cards that we don't even have full stats for legitly.
The culprits here is upscaling. On paper, it sounds like a genius idea. Your game runs at a lower resolution, say 1080p, and gets upscaled to 1440p or higher.
So if you're out there with your 4070 talking about how great the features we criticize run on your hardware, you are incredibly irrelevant to this conversation because you are in fact way beyond targets.
First of all, he had, let's look at this. You know, he has the Series X, 10.29 teraflops, 10 gigabytes of VRAM. That's all wrong. Anyways, We are relevant to the conversation. Yeah, you got these people like this to try to act like they're smart, but they're nothing but idiots that are trying to look smart on a camera. Which I find funny because the 4070 is 40% more faster than the PS5 Pro. We got some intel right here.
In mid to lower 40s in the water. To put that in PS5 Pro terms, the 4070 is at least 43% faster than the Pro.
What are you bringing up the 4070 for? What, are you mad because it's that much faster and it doesn't compare to it and you want to live in the delusion that thought it did? And by the way, the PlayStation 5 Pro's GPU is 16.7 teraflops. The 4060 Ti is 22. And it beats it in all other scales with better systems, fully integrated DLSS 3. So we're talking about a 4060 Ti here. And frame generation. So I'm trying to figure out what y'all talking about. It could easily put a better CPU in there than that outdated Zen 2 CPU and 32 gigabytes of RAM for like $100 or whatever. Yeah, please be quiet.
The Series S remains as a destructive outlier due to completely botching the established hardware improvements from its mid-gen predecessor. And for this reason, we cannot scrutinize the butchered image quality or extreme upscaling we've seen on this console. Since there doesn't seem to be enforced image quality standards, we believe the Series S should not dictate or limit the progress of visual standards for the truly hardware-enhanced machines.
Then there's DLSS, Deep Learning Super Sampling, Nvidia's upscaling tech. Sure, it helps boost frame rates, but at what cost? If you crank it to performance mode, you're effectively playing at a base resolution so low that it feels like you're back in 2008. And let's be honest, if you've got an RTX card, why should you?
If you have a potato PC, yeah. But I know people that have a 4080, 4070 that can play games native, and you don't even have to have on frame generation or DLSS if you don't want to. I mean, it just depends on the game, how optimized it is. It definitely does help, and it's a nice system. And your console's been using FSR for the longest. Everything you're saying is just going to make the console look worse.
Even need to rely on these compromises. Now let's talk about Nvidia's frame generation tech. It creates fake frames between real ones, bumping your frame rate from 30 to 60 FPS. Sounds cool, right? Except it introduces input lag, which is the last thing you want in fast-paced games. Sure, if you're playing something chill with a controller, maybe it's fine, but it feels like a shortcut.
What's the story with all the elevators lately? I heard Kylo Ren destroyed the one over.
But I'm still trying to figure out how the consoles are going to be better because of that. It's going to be worse on there. You have lower specs, you have fixed specs, and you can't change it. And you're using FSR, which is not on par with DLSS, but though they got 4.0 around the corner. But like, you're saying that like it's supposed to be benefiting consoles to make consoles look better. It doesn't.
Over in D sector. If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Hoth.
Ray tracing. The term alone conjures images of breathtakingly realistic lighting, lifelike reflections, and shadows so natural you feel like you could step into the screen. It was supposed to be a revolution, the future of gaming. But here we are, 6 years after its grand debut, asking a tough question. Were we tricked into adopting ray tracing too soon? For gamers, ray tracing promised unparalleled immersion, a way to make virtual worlds indistinguishable from reality. But as the hype faded and the dust settled, cracks began to show. Sure, some games dazzled us with cutting-edge visuals, but others left us wondering, is this it? Worse, there's a growing suspicion that ray tracing isn't just a tool for enhancing graphics, it's a shortcut for developers to cut corners and call it progress. Does ray tracing truly benefit us, the players, or is it just another shiny buzzword designed to sell GPUs and inflate marketing campaigns? And what about the performance cost? Are we sacrificing gameplay fluidity for reflections we barely notice in the heat of battle? Ray tracing as a concept isn't new.
I mean, yeah, if you're on console, sure. But once again, this on consoles just makes games run at 30 frames and sometimes under. Sony tried to promote ray tracing with the PS5 Pro. What ended up happening with that, you're still playing games at 30 frames per second. You're not even getting full ray tracing. PC ray tracing looks better at lower settings than it does on console. Watch this video right here.
To the PC's medium setting, but due to the usage of variable rate shading, which degrades texture quality, it can look almost worse than the lowest AF setting on PC, where textures turn a bit soupy close to the camera. Volumetrics as well on Xbox appear to be lower than the lowest setting, which gives them less detailed beams, and they're more prone to flicker in motion. Shadows on Xbox are closest to the medium setting, which reduces the amount of geometry added to shadow maps. So entire objects lose shadows indoors, like the artifacts and the wooden cabinet.
And there's, like you said, the lower settings on PC of ray tracing looks better, and they also have path tracing. I mean, you don't even have to use it. I don't use it like people try to promote it. You don't have to. You can turn it off, and most people choose performance. So once again, like what you're saying is like, you know, just not making any sense, because on PC you can even turn down settings and get more frames if you want. You have the option to do that. So what are we talking about here? Not every game is badly optimized.
It's been a staple in CGI and animation for decades. Movies like Toy Story and The Incredibles used pre-rendered ray tracing to create their stunning visuals. But gaming, that's a whole other challenge. Games need to render graphics in real time, and ray tracing's computational demands made it impossible for years. Then, in 2018, Nvidia dropped a bombshell: the RTX 20 series GPUs. These cards were the first to feature dedicated hardware for ray tracing called RT cores, which promised to make real-time ray tracing viable for gaming. Suddenly, games could have lifelike reflections, soft shadows, and dynamic global illumination, all in real time. The launch was groundbreaking, but let's be honest, it wasn't perfect. Early ray-traced games
Duh, but they're improving it, and look at where it's at now. It's way better. Well, what is Sony doing? Like, these people are slow. It's like they're the ones over here inventing, right, and making stuff. Just like DLSS, just like FrameGen. And you're supposed to sit over here trying to kiss Sony's ass. Somebody that's crushing gaming PCs and Nvidia RTX 50 cards. I'm sorry, but she's just dumb. Like, just being dumb. Like, seriously.
Games like Battlefield 5 and Shadow of the Tomb Raider showed flashes of brilliance, but came with massive performance hits. If you turned on ray tracing, even the most powerful GPUs struggled to keep frame rates playable. As the years went on,
You
more
can turn it
developers
off.
started experimenting with ray tracing, and AMD joined the party with their RDNA 2 GPUs in 2020. Games like Cyberpunk 2077 and Control pushed the boundaries,
Amazing ray
delivering stunning
tracing.
visuals that felt truly next-gen, but only if you had the hardware to handle them. By 2023, ray tracing had become a common feature in AAA games, but adoption remained uneven. Some titles, like Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition and Alan Wake 2, used ray tracing to create breathtakingly realistic worlds. Others, however, slapped on a few token effects that barely made a difference, or worse, introduced visual artifacts that hurt the experience. Now, in 2024, ray tracing is at a crossroad. We've got GPUs that are more powerful.
Man, she's such a pony, just showing nothing to place it. You see what I mean? Like their brain, you could tell. Like it's
than ever, with DLSS and FSR helping to offset the performance costs. But the question remains,
look at all these
has ray
PlayStation
tracing
games being
truly
shown.
delivered on its promise to revolutionize gaming visuals, or is it still just an expensive luxury? Let's take a look at some standout examples. Few games showcase the potential of ray tracing, like Cyberpunk 2077. On ultra settings, ray tracing enhances reflections, global illumination, and shadows, creating a neon-lit cityscape that feels.
We still haven't seen how PS5 is crushing gaming PCs and RTX 50 series. See how this is just like a clickbait with a bunch of blah blah blah.
Feels alive. But the real magic happens in overdrive mode, where path tracing takes the visuals to an entirely new level. With path tracing enabled,
Yeah, this can only be done on PC, doesn't exist on consoles.
every light source interacts naturally with its surroundings. Glass reflects detailed images of the world around it, shadows fall with precision, and the lighting feels dynamic and realistic. It's not just an upgrade, it's a transformation. Walking through Night City with overdrive mode feels like stepping into the future. Alan Wake 2 uses path tracing to deliver an experience that's both eerie and visually stunning. Indoor lighting, in particular, stands out. The way light spills through windows, bounces off walls, and reflects on surfaces adds layers of immersion that traditional rasterization could never achieve. What makes Alan Wake 2 special is how its visuals enhance its storytelling. The realistic lighting amplifies the tension and mystery, pulling you deeper into its world. It's a shining example of how ray tracing isn't just about pretty visuals. It's about creating an atmosphere that feels authentic. While the original Metro Exodus already looked great, the Enhanced Edition took it to another level by implementing full ray-traced lighting. This wasn't just an incremental upgrade, it was a complete overhaul of the game's visual presentation. Every scene feels more natural, from the way light filters through trees to the glow of a campfire at night. Reflections on water and metal surfaces are more accurate, and shadows have a lifelike depth. The Enhanced Edition proves that ray tracing can breathe new life into existing games, making them feel modern modern and relevant years after release. Spider-Man games on PC and PlayStation showcase how ray-traced reflections can make an open-world game truly shine. Glass windows reflect the bustling streets of New York, puddles on the ground mirror the skyline, and even the smallest details, like a car's glossy surface, benefit from the added realism. What's great about Spider-Man is how seamlessly these effects integrate into gameplay. As you swing through the city, the ray-traced reflections don't just look great, they make the world feel cohesive and alive. It's the kind of subtle enhancement that you notice most when it's gone. Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart, demonstrates how ray tracing can be
You see this? All Sony games. This person is a pony brain.
used creatively in sci-fi setting. Reflections on futuristic metals and glass give the game's vibrant environments an added layer of polish. But it's not just about
These ponies,
reflections.
y'all.
Ray-traced shadows and ambient occlusion enhance the overall lighting, making every scene pop. Then there's Unreal Engine 5, the go-to tool for modern game developers. It's powerful, no doubt, but it's also unoptimized.
That's going to be fixed this year, but obviously that takes time when you're trying to push the next generation. Like they're going to perfectly manifest something like God. But once again, what is Sony doing? So anything about the PS5 Pro, all the PSSR issues, like, you know what I mean? It's like, what a stupid title.
Optimized as hell. Ghosting, flickering, and TAA are everywhere. Take Stalker 2, for example. Without TAA, the game looks sharp but rough. Turn it on, and everything gets blurry. Where do we go from here? Here's the harsh truth. Gaming has lost its balance. Developers are so focused on pushing the envelope that they've forgotten the basics.
You want to highlight Stalker, a game that was made out of a miracle for them living in Ukraine, but you don't want to highlight any issues about PlayStation? Yeah, you're full of shit.
A game shouldn't need upscaling, frame generation, and a $2,000 rig to run decently. We're not asking for miracles.
But Sony's highlighting PSSR, which is imitating them and using the AMD system.
We're asking for common sense. Optimize games
So
for
are
where
we,
gamers
from your
are,
title
not
and
just
video.
for where the latest hardware is. Because if things don't change, gaming will become an exclusive club. All right, here's the deal. The next-gen RTX 5090 and 5080 GPUs are shaping up to be absurdly expensive. Now, take this with a grain of salt.
Everybody knows this. This isn't nothing new. You don't have to buy them. You can even get the 4 series when they drop in prices and still be years ahead of the console.
Because pre-release prices are always subject to change. Nvidia is notorious for tweaking pricing at the last minute. Heck, even the board partners like EVGA sometimes don't know the final pricing until Jensen walks on stage to make the announcement. But the early signs? Not looking good for anyone hoping for a budget-friendly option. Here's what's floating around. Listings for 2 PCs with Intel's new Air Lake CPUs paired with these GPUs have leaked. The system with the RTX 5090 is priced at a jaw-dropping €6,000, while the one with the RTX 5080 is going for €3,500. That's a whopping €2,500 difference. Now, part of that price hike includes upgraded components. The
That's just
5090
speculation.
steps up from an Intel Core Ultra 7 to an Ultra 9, from 32 gigabytes of RAM to 128 gigabytes, and doubles the storage from 1 terabyte to 2 terabytes. But even if you account for those extras, estimates suggest the GPU alone could account for 1,500 to 1,750 euros of that price.
So what? We already knew this. And people are going to do the same thing like they do with every NVIDIA card that drops. It's the same circle coming back around again. But once again, we need official stats. I mean, and for you to even put, like, just this title is just stupid. Like, it literally does not belong there.
Gap. Does this mean the RTX 5090 will actually be $2,000 more expensive than the 5080? Probably not. Nvidia's profit margins and packaging play a role, but it does strongly hint that these cards won't be cheaper than
You can ignore it like people ignore the PlayStation 5 Pro and don't buy it.
the current gen. In fact, we should probably prepare for them to cost more. Comparing generations, how much more are we paying? Trying to compare these new pre-built setups to current gen systems is tricky. For one, there's no direct equivalent for these Orion 700 builds featuring Intel's Core Ultra chips. But if we're judging by trends, don't expect these 50
For Orion 700, who wants to spend that much on a PC? Like, if you're going to get a PC, you're going to get a good one. Why would you want something to try to limit yourself to a console?
series cards to suddenly undercut the 40 series pricing. That ship has sailed. If you've been holding your breath for GPUs to get cheaper, it's time to exhale and accept reality. The RTX 50 series cards are likely to push pricing higher, not lower. The RTX 5090 is being set up as a luxury product, and even the 5080 might be out of reach for many gamers. At the end of the day, this is just another reminder that PC gaming is becoming an increasingly expensive hobby. Whether you're upgrading for ray tracing, higher frame rates, or just to keep up with modern titles, it's clear
I would not be upgrading my PC for ray tracing.
that the cost of staying current isn't going down anytime soon.
Pony.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
no.
in 2025, the PS5 Pro is starting to look like a way more appealing option. At $700, it's not exactly cheap, but compared to the nightmare pricing of the RTX 50 series cards, it feels downright reasonable.
I didn't know Intel didn't come in the industry. I didn't know AMD existed. I didn't know Nvidia had cheaper models like the 4060 Ti, which I just showed you is clearly ahead of the PS5 Pro's GPU. So yeah, what are we talking about here?
The Pro's hardware has been specifically designed with features like ray tracing in mind, thanks to the GPU upgrade that Mark Cerny himself championed over boosting the CPU.
Oh my god, she's slow.
Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but the PS5 Pro uses PSSR and it's not as good as DLSS. Look, let's be real here. The PS5 Pro is a full package. You're getting upgraded graphics, improved RAM, a lightning-fast SSD, a 2 terabytes of ultra-fast storage capacity, all for $700. And yes, that includes a DualSense controller. For what it costs, the PS5 Pro delivers games that look and run insanely well for a $700 piece of plastic. Compare that to spending upwards of $2,000 on a high-end PC, where you'll still have to rely on DLSS and frame generation to keep most of your games running smoothly. At this price point, the Pro feels like a steal, a console that punches well above its weight while staying within reach of most gamers' budgets.
Yeah, okay, Pony. If you say so, which is absolutely dumb. Anyways, guys, only in Ponyland. You don't see this anywhere else. I swear it's like they just can't help but be like bots for Sony, like, and say stupid stuff that doesn't make any sense. So this was a video trying to convince people why they should go and get a PS5 Pro and promote that at the end of the video. And to try to criticize Nvidia as if like Sony was anywhere near them. What a stupid video. Yeah, so you just got schooled, and you probably shouldn't have made this video, but of course you just wanted to get it for feed and growth anyways, and to kiss Sony's ass. Anyways, y'all like, comment, subscribe, let me know what y'all think. I'll be linking this, and I'll be letting this person know when I launch this. All right, peace, y'all. Ponies. Only ponies.